Bruce Lee is often remembered for his speed, his intensity, and the unforgettable presence he brought to the screen. But reducing him to a martial artist or a movie star misses the deeper truth. He was a teacher, a thinker, and a man who challenged the very way people understood combat, discipline, and personal growth. Born on November 27, 1940 in San Francisco under the name Li Jianfan, he came from a Hong Kong family and spent much of his early life moving between two worlds. From infancy, cameras were part of his life, yet it was never fame that defined him. It was an almost obsessive commitment to improvement and learning. As a teenager in Hong Kong, Bruce Lee was known to get into street fights, not out of aggression alone, but from a restless energy that lacked direction. Concerned for him, his family sent him to train in Wing Chun under Ip Man. Wing Chun taught efficiency, close-range control, and economy of motion, lessons that left a permanent mark on Lee. Still, even then he sensed that no single system could contain real combat. That doubt would later become the seed of his life's philosophy. At 18, Bruce Lee returned to the United States and settled in Seattle, where he studied philosophy at university. These years shaped him profoundly. He read widely: Taoism, Zen Buddhism, Western philosophy, psychology, and began connecting ideas about the mind with the mechanics of the body. At the same time, he taught martial arts, welcoming students from different backgrounds and styles. In an era when Chinese instructors were discouraged from teaching non-Chinese students, this was a quiet act of rebellion. Lee believed knowledge should never be restricted by tradition or fear. Out of this mindset came Jeet Kune Do. Bruce Lee never intended it to be another martial arts style. To him, it was a process of stripping away illusions. Remove what is unnecessary, use what is useful, and add what is uniquely your own. Jeet Kune Do rejected rigid forms and fixed answers. It demanded awareness, adaptability, and honesty. Long before mixed martial arts became mainstream, Bruce Lee was already thinking in terms of efficiency, realism, and freedom of movement. Physically, Bruce Lee did not fit the stereotype of a powerful fighter. He stood around 171 centimeters tall and weighed just over 60 kilograms. Yet his body was built for performance, not appearance. He lifted weights at a time when many martial artists believed it would slow them down. He trained endurance, flexibility, explosive power, and reflexes with equal seriousness. His famous one-inch punch was not a magic trick. It was the result of alignment, timing, and full body coordination, proving that real power begins in understanding, not muscle size. In cinema, Bruce Lee faced repeated rejection in Hollywood, often limited to minor roles because of racial prejudice. Rather than accept this, he returned to Hong Kong and took control of his career. The success that followed was explosive. His films were fast, raw, and deeply personal. They spoke about dignity, injustice, and identity, resonating far beyond the fight scenes. Through his work, he changed how Asian characters were seen on screen and opened doors that had long been closed. On July 20th, 1973, Bruce Lee died at the age of 32. Officially, the cause was cerebral edema caused by reaction to medication. Because of his youth and the height of his influence, questions have lingered ever since. What remains undeniable is how much he accomplished in so little time. Bruce Lee's legacy reaches far beyond martial arts schools or movie theaters. His ideas reshaped training methods, influenced generations of athletes, and offered a philosophy centered on authenticity and self-expression. When Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people of the 20th century, it was not simply recognizing his fame, but the depth of his impact. Behind the myths and exaggerations was a man who trained relentlessly, questioned authority, made mistakes, and evolved constantly. Bruce Lee was not extraordinary because he was superhuman. He was extraordinary because he refused to stop refining himself. That is why, decades later, his life still speaks directly to anyone searching for purpose, discipline, and the courage to become more than they are.